who's the best closer in your mind that's out there and available? And I think that's a really interesting conversation because we mentioned Suarez a lot. We've mentioned Fairbanks, Diaz as well. Or is it another? So I'll put that poll out there. But today, Jon Morosi was on talking about one of those closers. That kind of prompted this conversation. So why don't we play that clip of Jon Morosi saying where he thinks Pete Fairbanks could end up, and he's one of those best options out there. So let's play that.
Maybe for different reasons, is maybe the best closer on this list that doesn't get the run he deserves, and that's Pete Fairbanks. Where for him, JP?
The St. Louis Cardinals. Now, Will alluded to this a moment ago, but here's how I see this playing out. The Cardinals will make some trades. They'll move some veteran position players out there, and then they sign Fairbanks, who, by the way, pitched his college ball at the University of Missouri, so a bit of a homecoming story for him. So he comes back to Missouri, maybe sign him on a one-year deal. He becomes the closer in St. Louis, and then Chaim Bloom moves him at the deadline. Remember, of course, Ben, there's that connection. Chaim Bloom and Fairbanks going back to Tampa Bay years ago.
Matty B, you said it. I think this guy and Pete Fairbanks continues to be one of the more underrated pitchers in the game of baseball. And maybe that's because he plays for a team in the Tampa Bay Rays that maybe doesn't have a ton of eyes on them. But you're looking at a 2.80 ERA in 25, a 3.5 in 24, but a 2.58 ERA in 2023, and then a 1.1 ERA the year before that. This is the staple of consistency. He's been really good down there in Tampa, and I think if he goes to another team this year and signs elsewhere, we're going to get to really see Pete Fairbanks in a closer role. And I think people are going to be surprised at just how much of a stud this guy is.
I think the worry with Fairbanks is Tampa Bay's obviously, he's from the Tampa Bay system, right? And they've always been very good with these kind of pitchers. He's a little older than people kind of realize. The worry with him is if he gets out of Tampa Bay and gets exposed. We've seen that happen in the past. We've seen guys come up in the Tampa Bay system and go somewhere else and maybe not work out as well. But most of them have not been as good as Fairbanks is, so you can see why someone would take a chance on him.
All right.
Yeah, I don't understand that last comment.
Yeah, well, I think Fairbanks, and again, this is the fascinating conversation with closers because we have seen this. It's hard to close. Yes. And even the best closers are going to have down years, and then they could end up being from down to exceptional. And I use the example last year, Aroldis Chapman. If you look at some of the years before where you're like, man, has he lost it? He's been a little bit out of control going back to the World Series year for the Rangers when he got traded. Yeah. He was not their closer down the stretch because he was erratic. And guess what? He was lights out last year for the Boston Red Sox. So you're looking at this list right here, and Pete Fairbanks is a guy that is in that category. I agree. He's underrated. He is a pitcher that I think you can depend on. But what level here, Brad, I guess, do we want to go? Where do you want to go with this?
Here's my thoughts on this. First of all, we love Jon Morosi. We even had dinner with him almost a year ago. Had a great conversation.
Might have to have that again.
Family life and just business. And we're picking his brain. But this is one thing that I disagree with him on. Why would he go to Missouri when the Cardinals aren't even playing for anything right now? They're still a rebuilding team. I just don't know why you would even bother with a closer at this point when you have so many other needs on that team to make them even worthy of contention in that division. I just think that it makes sense for Fairbanks for another team that's actually in need of a closer right now to win this season, to go into the postseason. It just makes sense for me. And I'm not even saying that it's the Orioles. I couldn't tell you who it is, but the Cardinals don't make a whole lot of sense to me. I understand the backstory there, and it's a good feel-good thing, but I just don't think it makes sense for him to go there. I think it makes sense for him to go somewhere where he's actually needed. I don't think it actually is the Orioles. One of the big reasons why is because we haven't talked about this much, but Tyler Wells could be put in a leverage type situation. I think he could actually thrive in that. I almost wonder if they don't experiment with Wellsy kind of in that closer role to see if it makes sense for them, rather than going out and getting a closer when they know that all their money and their time and energy is going to be spent on starters.
Yeah, but here's the debate, and I think, Zach, we had this last week about it. You know that Tyler Wells can bulldog and be put in a closer role, but if you're the Orioles, and we've seen this before, you were exposed with your starting depth last year for pitching. You also know you need a high leverage guy. What's a value more in this situation? In my opinion, having a depth piece for starting is more valuable because last year the Orioles needed their depth and you found out you didn't have it in your organization. You didn't have enough. And now with Tyler being back, you knew in 2023, he was your best reliever in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Or sorry, best starter.
Yeah.
First half of the season. So you know that he can do it, but is there a restriction? Now, on the other side of it, yes, he could close out games, but do you want him to be the fallback, or do you want to make sure you get someone that you know you have? And I think that's the debate that I go to. I think for the Orioles, there's not guys right now in their bullpen. They have guys that could have upside, that could surprise you, like, oh, hey, how you doing? Dietrich Enns, Garcia. You might turn into something next year. Cano, you might get back to what you are, but you don't have anyone that's a surefire, oh, you're the guy getting the ball. It's a one-run game, bases juiced, and we believe that you're going to get it done. I don't think they have that guy on the team right now, and I think they need two of them.
Wellesley's personality, I feel like, would be great for a closing role.
It would.
Obviously, the talent's there too. It has to be, but like, I think he just has that mentality. I feel like to really stick in there in a high leverage situation.
I think he can, but I think it goes back to the part of when you're looking around for all of this. If I were a team, also, by the way, the Cardinals conversation, I don't see the fit for the Cardinals at all, because they're like, we got to trade away some of our older talent, and they need to.
Yeah.
But Zach, I mean, I think you and I we talked about it last week, though. The Orioles need to get one of these guys, it seems.
Yeah.
And I think I'm curious, is Fairbanks the one that is actually cheaper? Like, of all these closer options, Diaz, Suarez, and Fairbanks, I think Fairbanks might come a little bit cheaper because people don't consider him an elite guy in the back end.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, just going by relief pitchers on Spot Trek, Fairbanks is projected to have the fourth highest. I mean, $5 million less, $3 million less, $5 million less than Edwin Diaz, and $3 million less per year than Robert Suarez. So, yes, a cheaper option. And I agree. I think if a guy comes about and develops and shows that he is a high leverage guy throughout the season, it's a bonus. You can never have too many guys that can go out there. And I think they do have some people on the roster that are going to get some looks. I also think they have some guys in the minor leagues that are eventually going to get some looks in this high leverage situations, But yeah, I think Orioles need to make a move. I would love it to be a Pete Fairbanks type, but yeah, the Cardinals thing makes no sense to me. And if you want to say, hey, like, yeah, I know his reasoning was like Cardinals make the deal and then it's so that you can trade him for prospects at the deadline. Why would Pete Fairbanks want to do that? Why would you willingly go to a spot that hey, I'm going to be the closer here in limited opportunities because they're not going to be winning many games, just so I can move in the middle of the summer and have to learn a whole new organization? And like, getting traded is not easy. This isn't like all of a sudden you go down a different hallway at work. Like, this is moving states, learning a new team. You have new coaches with different philosophies now. You're pitching differently. Like, it's for a player, I would never willingly in my prime, like Pete Fairbanks is, when I could get a good contract, be like, hey, I could go somewhere and be a closer on a contending team, but I would rather go to a bad team and then get traded where I don't have a say where I'm getting traded, unless you get a no trade clause, obviously. But why would the Cardinals do that if the only reason they're getting him is to trade him? That's too many moving parts. I'm out on the Cardinals. No, that would make no sense to me.
I think Fairbanks goes where a good deal is, and he goes to a team that can try to win. If I'm any of these closers, why wouldn't a contender go after these guys? Like that's the part, Brad, I'm with you. And hey, love John. Hopefully we'll be with him when he's breaking news down in Orlando.
I mean,
and avoiding a damn poll.
I forgot about that.
Almost whammy. Right.
Yeah, for context, we were. It was me, Jon Morosi, and Rip. We were, I think we told you this, Zach. We were just in a hole in the wall barbecue spot, eating dinner because we hadn't eaten all day, just waiting for this Juan Soto trade to go off. We're having a great time, just talking, life and whatever else. Literally walk out. It was when we walked out. Yeah, we were walking out, and the Juan Soto deal happened.
Yeah.
And Jon Morosi is so focused that he almost runs into a telephone pole right in the middle of the sidewalk.
Oh yeah, we're like, yeah, it's almost like a happy lookout, like where the guy almost does drill him on the golf course. Zach, and
would have had to explain why his
He had to
face
go
got all busted up on camera. Like it would have been something.
But you know what? That Juan Soto signed with the Mets right then and there.
Yep.
You remember where you were, and we were there.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll see more of that breaking news. But I just think those closers. If I'm any of those guys, unless like you want to go to a familiar place. So Helsley was saying, he was with the Cardinals. Would it make sense to go back because he likes it there? Like if you want to go back, every player has their priority. But for those other guys, I think the money is going to come from a team that's trying to win, right? Meow. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens. And I put out that poll right now. And currently the results of that poll are, I said, who is the best closer out there in free agency? Fairbanks, Diaz, Suarez, or another. And 43% of you right now are saying, well, Suarez is still the best one out there.